Everyone, how are you? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today, we are talking about community and really how finding a community, being a part of the right community, and really just being involved in that kind of environment can help you skyrocket your success. So, if you're feeling lonely or misunderstood and craving connection with high quality individuals, or maybe you're looking for a healthy romantic relationship, or you're just looking to really accelerate your life and business this year with along the side of some really, really great people, you are in the right place because that's exactly what we're talking about. We're going to be talking all about that and how you can get more of it and why it's actually so, so, so important. So I'm Larissa McCook. I'm an author, speaker, and CEO of Larissa McCook Coaching, and I help people unlock their magic and become what they're really capable of being by releasing where they're stuck and taking action on it. And so we are talking about community today. And I remember when I was younger, I often felt like an outsider. I was involved in many communities growing up through dance, through church, through school. And I always went. I was always around the same people, but something inside me never felt really comfortable. And so I would feel like a complete outsider. And it wasn't until years later when I started to really study how the mind works, study how people operate, study how I operate, that I completely changed that perspective. I started to hear people talk about the power of spending time with the right quality people. I started really listening to some leaders in their fields, and they always talked about the power of people. And so it got me curious to learn more and more. And the more curious I learned, the more curious I became, the more I learned about how to really interact with people and how to have fun in a community and how to feel really good and authentic about it along the way. And so these days I love communities, and it's such a complete shift. And there's a story. Because I'm a student of personal growth, there were the Vagabonds. And this is something I've read about in many different books. This is a group of notable industrialists and individuals like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone. And what they would do is they would go on annual camping trips together. And they invited other people like US presidents, leading scientists, and really influential people in their field to join them. And so they'd go on these camping trips and they'd chat by the fire, they'd build friendships with one another, and they'd exchange ideas. And this is such a powerful, powerful way to really cultivate new ideas, build and strengthen friendships, and enhance your entire life. Hello, ladies. How are you? So happy that you're here. And I think for me, one of the biggest things that I've done is I've done so much training in my day. And whenever I do a workshop for a couple hours, it's nice, or for a day. But if I do a week-long training or a 2-week-long training, and we are in class with the same people, and it's an intimate environment, and sometimes you might even do training where you one of our tours that we did, we were literally like living with people for a couple of weeks, and you really get to know people. You can become more close to someone in a 2-week period of time than people you know in your entire life, because proximity really is power. And so let's talk about how the right community will help you grow and skyrocket your success. And have you ever wondered why those wealthy and successful people send their kids to special or private schools? Well, think about it. It's just like that, what I was talking about. Proximity is power. It's not the education they're going to get on its own. It's the education and the opportunities combined with the relationships they're going to meet. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing, because it's not what you know, it ultimately is who you know. Maybe at some point in your life, you've engaged in a beautiful conversation with someone and felt completely alive. Well, when you've done that, your entire body gets invigorated because of this beautiful back and forth conversation that you've had. You learn something, you give something, and you're pitching and catching along the way. And there really seem to be 2 schools of thought. When you look at it, there are 2 schools of thought when it comes to this pandemic. And I think it's regardless of your social, political, or any other crazy opinions at this time, when you really look at it, the pandemic has done two main things to people in this world. And it's either been a pretty extreme blessing for many, or it has been a very a tragic, uncomfortable, not such a good situation for so many people. And you can easily switch yourself from one place right to the other in a heartbeat. And it's a matter of perspective. And it really is a matter of how you show up in the world. And mental health days and loneliness, things like that are a real topic. It's a hot topic these days, and people are talking about it all over. But one really key way to curb all that is through meaningful human connection. And I want to emphasize the word meaningful, because meaningful human connection is so key. It's easy to have human connection, and it might be a nice experience, but when you really get to that point of having it become truly, truly meaningful, that's when you're really get to that point of skyrocketing your success, accelerating, and feeling really, really beautiful about it. On the flip side, there are others who have had their businesses completely explode. Others have had the time to calm down and slow down and not be running around left, right, and center, and start evaluating what's truly important in life. And they can experience more joy, more fulfillment from some of the simplicities that they forgot and maybe never actually had the chance to experience in their life. And so when you choose to make the good out of a situation, life is going to be so much better. And when you're in the community and when you're involved in a community of like-minded people, that is going to help facilitate that. Can you still achieve success and be happy completely isolated? Yes. When you're in a community, it is so much easier. Right? Communities are so key. You get to learn from one another. You get to stretch yourself beyond your limits and really accelerate your success. You're going to be more connected and feel understood. You'll feel heard. And often people say, like, your network is your net worth. The more high quality individuals you spend time with, the more opportunities you will often have presented to you. I know I get so inspired by spending time around the right people, and I'm sure you do as well. That's why we join communities like Unleash Your Opulence. That's why we have certain friends that we want to call more often than others. So you're going to start speaking up for what you really, truly believe in, and notice that meaningful connection plays a huge part in your life. And so when you are in that close proximity of community, look at the communities that you're spending time with. Are they really moving you forward, or are they moving you back? Are they inspiring you? Are they motivating you? Are they helping you feel like you're a part of something, like you're a really important, pivotal part of something, or not? Because when they do, when you choose to step into those communities, that's when the magic is going to happen. You will get resources beyond your belief, and you will really start showing up in your life differently. It doesn't matter how talented or smart you are, you can't achieve any significant level of success on your own without a partner or community of some sort. Honestly, when you have that security and safety net of a community, you're going to sleep better at night. Your health will be better. You'll be happier. You'll smile a lot more, right? I like to smile. Even on bad days, I force myself to smile, and I always feel better. And when you're around a community of like-minded people, they are going to note things, and they are going to push you forward to be your absolute best self. Now, when it comes to community and human connection, a lot of community can mean so many different things to so many different people, but throughout history, groups of people have formed communities to really increase their chances of survival. Simple as that. They have formed communities to increase their chances of survival. And these communities may have had a shared interest, like providing food for their families. So they joined with another family to hunt or to farm. And this has been around for generations and generations, for hundreds and thousands of years. And these days, while that form still exists, we have a lot of other forms of communities, right? We typically have communities based on interest. Maybe it's based on an identity of some sort. Maybe it's based on family and location. Maybe it's organizationally based, but we have communities in many parts of our lives. And if you feel like you're not part of any community, you actually want to take a step back and really evaluate the communities you are a part of. For me, I was very involved in my cultural community, in the Ukrainian cultural community. I was also very involved in the community at work. I was involved in many nonprofit organizations and many extracurricular activities that I was involved in. I was in Toastmasters, and I was hugely involved in different communities where I had interests. I have a strong family community, an intimate family and an expanded family. So start looking at the communities you have. If you feel like, oh, I don't have any communities, because your definition of community might be a bit small-minded, but when you start to expand it, you're going to actually recognize the gifts you have sitting right in front of you. And so when it comes to communities, they really are about giving and getting, right? Giving and getting. It's about pitching and catching. And when you're involved in a community, it's just about the receiving part as about the giving. And I think this is something that we've really started to actively practice among my client group, because so often you might be involved in a community, or you might join because you have a need or an interest to give. Or you may have a need to take something and to receive something because you have a need or a gap that you need filled. But when we work, we have mastermind teams that we work with. And when we work with our mastermind teams, there is a very collaborative effort. You show up and you actually ask for help. You show up and you ask for help. And then other members of the mastermind give you help. So there's that element of giving and receiving. And I think that's a really important element of any community, any organization, any relationship you're involved in, because when you have that, it's not going to be a 50-50 balance, but there has to be a balance of both when you really look at it in the grand scheme of things. And some of those things might look different to different people, and they might exist in different forms, but when you practice both the giving and the receiving, that's really going to help cultivate some strong ties in the community. And so I think at its bare essence, everything is energy. And I talk about this so much. Everything, it really is energy. And when you look at the energetic foundations, if you are in a community that is active, if you're involved in a community that is meeting regularly, if you're involved in a community that is giving and receiving, if you're involved in a community that has some kind of common goal or vision, you will notice that that community is elevated at a higher vibration. There's going to be a buzz. There's going to be an excitement. There's going to be something to look forward to that you're going to want to show up for. And when you live in that high vibe state, when you show up in that high vibe state, that is when the magic happens, because that's when you are going to be at your best. That's when you're going to be able to receive the best from others. So one real key is when you're looking for communities, you want to look for communities that are in that high vibration, because everything is energy. And the energy you bring to the table is going to impact others, and the energy others bring will impact you. The thing is, communities and cultures have paradigms. Paradigms are mental programs or conditioning that we have. And as individuals, these programs might be some of the internal thoughts that you say to yourself. It might be, I am like a super happy and successful individual, versus, oh my God, it's so hard to get out of bed because, I'm just so tired all the time. I'm a tired person. That identity of being a tired person is a paradigm, versus, I'm looking forward to my day, and no matter what happens, I know that it's perfect. And so those can be very different paradigms, but organizations, cultures, communities have these paradigms too. And so the people within those communities ultimately facilitate those community paradigms. And you want to really look at the paradigms of that culture or of that community. And the thing is, one person can make a huge impact and a huge difference to a community. So if you are involved in a community, you don't necessarily have to run away from it. What if you make a decision to show up differently? What if you make a decision to show up even better and start impacting the paradigm of that community? Or if you are searching for a new community, really take a look at the paradigms, the ideas, the fundamental meaning and philosophies behind what that community holds. What are their values? What are their beliefs? And do they match with who you are and who you want to be? Because ultimately, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And when's the last time you really thought about who the 5 people are you spend the most time with? And are they the kind of people that you want to be like in your future? Because if they're not, that's something to really seriously evaluate. And how can you get into closer proximity with people of a higher nature or of that are more similar and like-minded to who you want to become? You want to surround yourself with value-driven people who really are interesting, have a positive view, they're focused, and they're changing the world for the better. When you do, that's when the power of 1 + 1 becomes 11 instead of 2. So 1 + 1 becomes 11 instead of 2. And so this is where you can truly position yourself for quantum leaps and ultimately skyrocket your success. One thing that really blocks people from communities and from opportunities is talent, because talent, when you are super skilled and talented, you often can do things better, you want to do things better, and you may want to take charge and do it all yourself. That leads to vicious independence. And the thing is, you've got to do things by yourself, but you can't do them alone. So you've got to take responsibility for your life and for your actions, but you can't do it alone forever. Ultimately, when you're in the right community, you will skyrocket yourself to success with explosive power. And here's a few keys, and here are a few tips of things that I want you to really look at in the communities you're involved in. So first and foremost, your community must have a common goal and common vision. And if there is nothing that is in common, that nothing that is common that you can all aspire to with one another, you will get stuck, right? You're going to just be roaming aimlessly, putting up nice quotes on Facebook and not moving towards a greater good. So there's got to be something bigger that you're working towards, something bigger that you're aspiring to, because that's really going to fuel your fire, and that's going to help you increase the chances of other people's success and of your own as well. There's got to be a values alignment. So you want to have those beliefs and those values really, really well aligned. Not everything will be 100%, but really look at those core values. Are they things that are important to you and that you do believe in? The thing, everyone has got superpowers, and they are not the same as yours. And you have superpowers, they have superpowers, but when you know what your superpowers are, you want to make the absolute most of them in your community. These are the things that you will be giving, and then you will be asking for or inviting and receiving the superpowers of others that aren't yours. There's going to be some things you just aren't good at. There's going to be some things you just plain old do not like to do. And something as simple as in my life, I mean, I do not like doing laundry. I do not like sweeping my floors. I do not like doing that on a regular basis. Once in a while, okay. If I'm forced to, I am not happy. And so I have other people who love doing that kind of work. Help me out. And so there is a superpower that everyone has. You do not need to spend your time and energy forcing yourself to do something you don't like to do. If you are a great creator, find a great implementer. They are out there. That's what you want to do. So find people whose superpowers complement yours and can enhance yours, and you guys can pitch and catch together. You want to create, not compete. That's what happens. When you guys are working towards that common goal, you're going to be creating beautiful things instead of fighting or competing with one another. And when you're truly in the right community, when you think of the Vagabonds, they had high standards. They do have high standards. The right community will not let you off the hook. The right community will not let you off the hook. So you want to really be truthful with people. You want people to be truthful with you rather than just surface level nice, because they're going to call you on your shit. And when they do, it's not to be mean. It's actually to push you forward and propel you rather than hold you back. So I hope some of those have been really helpful in terms of contextualizing community, having a common vision and goal, making sure your values are aligned, stretching and using your superpowers, but allowing others to give you their superpowers. So giving and receiving, competing and not creating, and really not letting each other off the hook. Those are some real keys to strong communities that will help you skyrocket yourself to success. So go out there. These days, you may have to be creative. It's not the same strategies as before, but I promise you, if you make a concerted effort to find the right community, if you make a concerted effort to start deciding that you are going to take your life and business to the next level, opportunity will present itself. Now, one of the things we've got going on in this Unleash Your Opulence group is we have an Unstoppable You event coming up in February. So February 15th, we are launching Unstoppable You. And this is going to be a 5-day event where you get the opportunity to study you. You get the opportunity to really create and craft the best, the most unstoppable version of you can think of and you can come up with and then implement it. You are going to have the opportunity to do this in the presence of like-minded people. And when you show up with like-minded people and do this, the energy is so expansive, it's so explosive, and it's so strong and key. And so we've done these events in the past and we've had tremendous feedback because one of the biggest things that people have raved about is the power of the community. They say, this is a place that is safe for me to share my wins. This is a place that is safe for me to grow as an individual and to also support others. And the power of community right here is so key. So I want you to register for Unstoppable You. I want you to be there. We will be sharing more about it over the coming weeks. It's starting February 15th, and we are going to be going live at 12 o'clock every single day for the week. So I want you to mark it in your calendars. There is a link to register up at the top of the screen. There's going to be links all over the place on this page. So definitely register for Unstoppable You because it is going to make a world of difference to you, to your community, and to your 2021. So I hope you have a fantastic day. And I hope that you've really started shifting your perspectives on community and how the right community will help you grow and skyrocket your